anybody. We set the records against ourselves and we try to beat them. This is Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. Welcome to the stadium, the program that covers every sport on the surface of the earth and, of course, somewhere above the earth and beyond the earth. We do that as well. My name is Ted, and it's a pretty Saturday evening, a sad Saturday for some supporters. Of course, you hear somebody giggling at the background because his club had a very barren draw. You can see his face. He's not smiling as usual, but that is the name of Buchi, the one and only.
Yes, so my people.
Buchi, you guys failed to take advantage of the platform that was offered and
that's
provided.
the truth. That's the truth. Many people are going to say, well, Chelsea got a draw. They walked away with a point. No, I disagree. I say kudos to Everton. Everton got a very well-deserved 1 point, and Chelsea squandered 2
Everton,
points.
Right?
Chelsea squandered 2 points. That's just it.
Squandered 2 points in the absence of Morata.
Everton, yes. I mean, compared to the last time they had a big game at home where they lost 5-0 to Arsenal. I mean, I think this is a big improvement, and you can see the real influence of the Big Sam himself. This is what he does. He comes to these teams and he inspires them. He helps them up.
All right, do not forget, that's not the only team that squandered leads during this weekend. Last night it happened. Liverpool leading at a very convenient place, and everything went wrong for them, or right for them. I don't know how to say it, but that's what happened. And of course, today there were other games. El Clasico. What are your thoughts? Who is the world best? Self-deciding that I'm the best, or the world decides for you, but it doesn't matter. Only one player has won the Ballon d'Or, and won the Champions League back-to-back and the FIFA Club World Cup back-to-back. A lot more if you don't feel like talking about football, but we can't avoid it because it's the best game on the surface of the earth. That's the intro into what we're doing today. We're talking other sports, stories in Formula One and in tennis. We'll take a very short break, and when we return, that will be talking points. We also open the phone lines outrightly. Games are going on right away. Manchester United trying to see what they can do to catch in on the draw between not Manchester actually. I'm not thinking of Manchester, but the draw between Arsenal and Liverpool to see if they can stretch that gap. Chelsea also having a very barren draw. Can Man U actually get a clear win and move ahead to see that they are closer to the top than where they are at the moment? We'll do a lot of that on this show. But first of all, let's give you highlights of what's happened in Formula One. Of course, Sergio Marchionne has come out to say that he expects a lot of performance and improvement in the upcoming season. Yesterday on the program, we spoke about the fact that a lot of stuff. We spoke about Vettel, his outburst in Singapore and in Bangladesh, deliberately crashing into other players, other drivers. We spoke a little bit about that, but we're looking at the fact that what do you expect? What are we expecting in the coming season in 2018? A lot of changes in the nature of cars that are going to be out there, the engines especially, the tops, a little change as well, and a lot of adjustments to the hydraulics, which were a lot of problems during this just past season. But other changes will be expected as well. New drivers being signed and a lot more. But what other changes are looking forward to?
I mean, the next season, that's the new Formula One season. 2018.
Yes.
We're looking at teams like, I think it was Renault? Not Renault. Teams like Renault that are getting back into the game of making engines, performance engines. We're looking at also new contracts to be signed. New contracts to be signed for not just between companies for provision of engines and body parts for bigger teams, but also for new drivers, young and up and coming drivers. We hear there's going to be some big swaps too, and Ferrari actually coming out to even unveil they're doing their unveiling of their new car. I think that's in March 28th or something. Sometime in March they're going to unveil their new car.
They actually moved it to February 22nd.
Okay, they moved it up.
February,
yes.
To like go ahead. I guess probably, I don't know if Hamilton will be going with Mercedes to unveil their car, or he'll be going with his Ferrari to unveil Mercedes. One of the controversies we have on ground as well.
So, a lot of things, like we said, a lot of things are happening in F1. We can't wait for the new F1 season to kick off. It's always going to be a cracker. A lot of people said this season, I mean, yes, it was Hamilton that took it, but it wasn't Mercedes that had the best car. They just had a phenomenal driver. Ferrari seems good to, I think they've been able, since it was Singapore and Malaysia that kind of went downhill for them. It seemed like a tied up season for them and for Vettel, but it all went downhill for them. And also you're looking at Red Bull who are also, who are never too far behind from the leaders. So it's going to be a very tough and also Force India.
Force
they're,
India,
you know,
Tony
Force,
Rosso, I swear, and that's another team I'm looking for. Force India actually have been around.
I'm looking at Force India. Force India were phenomenal this season.
It's
Big,
a team to watch out for because India have been into manufacturing.
Yes.
They have been, and I think they will seek the license to probably work on their own cars
Yes,
since
of
they are
course.
actually car manufacturers. They could work on their own engines if F1 grants. The new ownership of F1 in trying to expand might actually let them do that. If they
No,
do.
with the new management, a lot of new changes, a lot of new innovations are actually going to happen in F1, and which is what we're looking towards and looking forward to. I'm personally looking to 2021 with the new engines in the car, making the level field more open for new and up and coming companies, independent
And
companies
more
coming.
teams getting into the race.
Of course.
And Formula One will have more drivers than NASCAR. We're hoping so. So we'll take a very short break for call to prayer. When we come back, we're opening the phone line straight off and we're talking about other games. Doping, stay on the line. But stay with us. Don't go anywhere. Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. And this is The Stadium, the only program that brings you everything in the world of sports. My name is Ted, and with me here is Buchi. If you're watching us online or on YouTube, you're wondering why we're seated like this. We only sit this way when Liverpool threw away a 2-goal lead.
Oh, Liverpool. You know they never walk alone now. So how can they win alone? How can they win alone now? Might as well. They were just,
Mr. Austin Papa, wherever you are, you're supposed to be here to defend your team. Doing it again a second time. But this is a stadium. We're talking about games that are going on and games that went on yesterday. But of course, before we come back to the sports, football especially, we have some other stories from other sports. Buchi, eventually, some Russian athletes have still been finally banned. We're thinking that those who were clean will participate in the Pyeongchang Olympics under the Olympic flag, not under Russia. But still, the scrutiny is still going on, and we have still lost some very good athletes. About 11 in number, eventually banned again.
Yeah, the story, I think it broke, was it late last night?
Last night, yes.
Yeah, it broke late last night. Russian athletes, again, caught in the crosshairs of this their nationwide doping scandal. And now you have 11 more athletes. I mean, I think the Olympic Committee have actually been very generous in the sense that they did ban Russia as a country, but they didn't ban the athletes. If you're going to perform and you clear your drug test, then you can compete, but it will be under the Olympic flag. And even at that, you still have people who are still defaulters. So
that was, for me, that was, I don't know whether it was a mistake or it was an oversight. Instead of facing individual athletes who doped, they banned the country. The entire country, first of all. Probably that was to prove that the country was, because of the doping scam, the whole program that the country has been doing. It
was a nationwide thing, and the only way you can punish the nation is the whole, you can't say, you have to give them credit in the sense that
they took that decision.
They took the decision in favor of those clean athletes, because for me, that kind of decision is guilty by association. There are people there are Russian athletes who are probably clean as whistles, who competed, and they deserve their chance.
And those are the athletes they have to participate as Olympic athletes, not as Russian athletes.
Of course.
I'm surprised to see names say like Tatiana Ivanova and Abe Demetrio in Logas.
Yes.
Being banned. These are athletes who have been performing over time in the Olympics in a lot of sports across the calendar, the athletic calendar. And now all of a sudden, hearing that even their bobsled team their bobsledders.
Yes, they're speed skaters, they're bobsledding team. I'm looking at even names like Natalia Matviva.
These are household names.
These are household teams that have won medals. These are the pillars. Sometimes you can call them even the pillars of this sport. And to be banned at this level, it's unfortunate that we're not going to see them, but at some point, I think you have to give kudos to the Olympic Committee. At some point, you have to put your foot down, and there has to be consequences to their actions. Yes,
it's better to get rid of those you used to think were good but are no longer good than to keep them in and corrupt the young and innocent ones coming in. Because by the time they realize what this, yesterday, Oga Amino and I spoke about this on the program, to realize that these people, all that they won all through their career was through some kind of synchronized, arranged, and masterminded doping that can actually beat any system in place to detect that they are taking some substances that are not allowed, and performance enhancing substances, and they actually do that. So it's better to get rid of that and discourage the younger ones from getting into that, and to let them just do that and
get away with it. It's like getting away with murder.
15 to 20 years, you realize that all the medals we won in 1445 were actually through doping. So in 2023, no matter how old you are, we're stripping you of that title, and your country will have to make reforms. I agree with you on one point that it's better to ban the country and discourage them, because we realize that Russia actually set up this machinery, protected their athletes, and a very big name at the Olympic and the world stage, the global stage.
Of course.
And yet this was to the disadvantage of some countries that brought in, maybe like us, Nigeria, yes,
that fielded a small team towards these big Olympic games.
Yes.
I mean, for me, to be honest, I think I believe in I won't say let me just say harsh punishment. Let's just put it that way. Harsh punishment. These people did something wrong, they did something bad, and they need to be punished for it. I mean, it's just like we said, this is just like having a state-sponsored, a ministry. Just picture a ministry of doping affairs, where before you can travel out, maybe you register with you're well screened and checked, and have you taken your 7 injections and doses of this dope? You must take it if you're going to qualify, whether you like it or yes. So I think it is a good thing. I think it's a good ploy to punish the country. And this will also stand as a deterrent to other countries, that might have the same idea, who might think, you know what, Russia is doing it, why can't we do it? So it's a good thing. I think it's a good thing.
All right. We're still talking drugs in sports. What's happening in sports? Should they start testing pilots and drivers or other people? I don't know. Or producers or sound engineers?
Maybe even OAPs.
OAPs. See how fluent they are. I don't know. But for real, it's not a very welcome development that we keep finding people, because British sprinter Nigel Levine has failed a drug test. They are just waiting for a B sample to confirm that what they saw in her system was a banned substance. The same, now, Buchi, this same substance that had problem with Chris Froome, that has to do with asthma, has some kind of relation with asthma. This one is called clenbuterol. It's an asthmatic drug, but they say it's banned. And if it is banned, it's still accessible to this person who is partially asthmatic and needs to use that because she's a sprinter. And I don't know. This keeps coming and coming and coming. It appears that WADA, the World Athletic Doping Agency, might not ever have an exhaustive list of substances that should never be taken by any athlete, because now the athlete is facing this kind of a check, and at the end of it all, if they discover that what he took was not something that was banned previously, and now it's going to be banned, and then tomorrow you take it and it has been, is there any word like unbanned?
I think it's been cleared off the naughty list. Let's put it that way. Nigel Levine is he's one of Britain's top sprinters, and to be caught in this kind of situation, this is just like the Froome incident you're talking about. I mean, Froome was not on illegal drugs. He wasn't actively taking maybe hormonal enhancers or steroids.
He was actually ingesting some castrated
boar meat, while uncastrated boar meat. So I mean, what he took was a drug that was sanctioned, that is in regulation, within regulations, to help breathing. He has a prescription for it. But then what the anti-dope body are trying to figure out, or are trying to ascertain, is the amount, because if you take it in a certain,
if you take it in excess, accepted level,
if it's in it becomes a problem and becomes a drug enhancer, which is the same thing Nigel Levine is kind of going over right now. This is an asthmatic drug. It's something that has been licensed and ascribed to him based on the mild asthma that he suffers from. But taking one, you have to consider two things. One, if it's taken in excess, and if the intent behind it was towards performance enhancement. Those are two things you need to consider.
How do you know the intent, Butchie? Because if as long as you're asthmatic and you're having problem with breathing,
you have an attack. Exactly,
you have an attack. You need to take this, and as long as the air is dusty, or the atmosphere is not very clean, and you need to take this to enable you breathe well, it's going to have residues of it in your system.
Of course.
But so should there be another drug to get rid of this from the system each time you take this before the anti-doping body discovers that?
No, you know, the problem is, especially for I think the anti-doping body tends to have one of the hardest jobs, which is why they don't just ban anybody. It takes time. You can see maybe the Rio Olympics happened, long process
investigation.
Sochi happened 2014, samples upon samples, before, after, during, and they're tested over time, over and over again. So when they come out to say you're banned, they have ruled everything out. But then the problem right now, I think one of the challenges they face is that some of these drugs that are coming out, what makes the list? Every day some new drug has been added. This was what Sharapova went through. It wasn't the drugs that she took, it was something that was,
it wasn't banned as at
banned as at that moment, and then
And she wasn't taking it as a performance-enhancing drug.
She wasn't. So that's the problem. These things keep changing, and new drugs keep getting added and subtracted. I think we have to get to a point where...
And yesterday, Ogamino Ibrahim and I spoke about it, that managers of these athletes sometimes deliberately...
No, deliberately, definitely.
Find ways to provide for them drugs that they could use that... to the athletes, they know they are not banned, but to the managers, they know that they contain
that substance. Maybe unwillingly you're taking that substance and you don't know, because the manager is trying to get the best out of you to, for you to perform. I remember on Tuesday we reported about Justin Gatlin's coach and an agent who were caught on camera and recorded this thing. The agent actually, offering to sell or offering to provide illicit or illegal drugs to athletes and stating
and not be caught
stating that the reason stating that that all top American athletes are on drugs, so why won't you be? That's how you get the edge. I mean, when you have that kind of blatantness, I think blatant
ideology
behind it, behind
mindset.
Exactly. When you have that kind of blatant ideology and mindset behind the taking of,
you're going to continue doing
enhancing drugs. It's going to be. It's like the new normal. So
because if you got away once or twice, you believe that you can still get away every time.
A thief isn't a thief until he's caught. It becomes the new normal, and so you have to give kudos to the anti-doping board. They're trying their best. It takes a lot. Can you imagine? Thousands, hundreds and thousands of athletes. No, hundreds of athletes with thousands and thousands of samples that you must go through meticulously.
And any mistake that can actually tarnish the image and the career, terminate the career of an athlete for life and all that. We spoke about the fact that the head of ESPN, the major Oga, like we say in Nigerian parlance, had to resign from his position, not because he was tested positive, but he did realize that he was addicted to a substance he was taking to rectify some inner thing, but he had over-depended on it and it became an addiction. I decided to take that bow, but not being an athlete, we welcome that, but for athletes. And Buchi, next year is a very heavy sports year.
Yes, it
is. We have Pyeongchang, we have the Commonwealth Games, we have the World Cup, we have we have Seoul as well, 2018. A lot of sports coming up, and heaven knows what athletes are preparing, and how they're preparing towards that. Because if you're going to ingest things that will enable you to perform, it begins from now. And we're saying from now on, athletes should be mindful of what they take. But the problem is when it comes to us, what kind of food are we taking to Russia? No. Amala, banga soup. I think the kind of spices that Chef Fatima does on Human Rights Radio, both are on that radio here and on TV and online. Some foods that not the international spices that she provides, but she does, but the ones we actually consume locally here.
Yes.
Will that be passed as
I mean, at some point, who knows? Maybe down the line, maybe there's some kind of strain of starch that will be found in akpu that will be considered illegal. These things always come up. There's always some new substance or new something to be found. So let's just wait and see.
Don't mistake it. This is Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM redefining broadcasting. My name is Ted, and with me here is Buchi. We're talking about things that are happening in the world of sports. Of course, lovers of football out there are wondering what is happening in the games, but we are going to give you all the results because we have a whole lot of time here for you. You're the only reason why we are here. Without you, we have no point being here. Stay with us. And, of course, we're going to open the phone lines shortly. When we'll let you join the phone lines to have your say on what we're saying. Bebuchi, to the world of tennis,
yes,
more players being not declared missing now, but are not going to be there in Australia. The first opening, the season opener in WTA and ATP, and the latest casualty is Kei Nishikori of Japan, amazing player who's going to be out there. He was supposed to have a surgery, but he opted for that's my surprising thing. He opted for rehabilitation rather than a surgery to repair damage to his wrist.
I think a surgery would be faster, yes, but I think
long-term effect.
But the long-term effect, exactly. I think he's actually taking the high road. He's taking the smart road. I mean, rehabilitation will be longer, but I think that training, it gives you that time for training and muscle strength, and especially after major surgery, especially after the kind of injury he had with his wrist.
Yeah.
So he's opting to go the rehabilitation route. I think in that process he's going to train. It's going to take longer. Unfortunately, he's going to miss out on Brisbane, which is the opening season of the ATP tours this year.
For the 2018.
So
You're bringing it to this
it's
year.
unfortunate. Well, sorry. This year is over.
You
I
want to rush
apologize.
it.
2018. I think I'm already thinking in 2018, so I apologize for that. So it's a welcome thing. It's disappointing that he's going to miss Brisbane because he always brings a lot of life to the court.
Yes.
He's somebody that is very quick on his feet, very nimble, and
To the second in the ranking, that's not very far. I mean,
not very far. He's Japan.
With ATP is 5,000, 1,500, 1,500. If he's able to get to the top 8 of all these ATPs, his ranking will just
exactly.
improve.
He just shoots up.
But he's losing out on the very, very first opening.
Yeah, but I'm looking at it, the fact that he's 27 years old. He still has a lot of miles under his. He still has a lot of years ahead of him. Yeah. This is just a minor setback in the career, and we'll probably still see him along the line this season. It's obvious he won't. Unfortunately, he won't be there in the opening. But there's the 250s, there's the 500s, there's so many other competitions down the line, and we've talked about how choked up the ATP season is, especially for these tennis players. So I believe he's going to make a resurgence, just like Del Potro did late in the year.
Yeah.
Made a resurgence, and we're going to feel his presence.
Okay, of course, people that are returning in the male category, we have Andy Murray coming in, who is yet to fly out to Australia. We spoke about the fact that Serena Williams went ahead of time to get acclimatized to the weather and maybe the diet as well, and train and be used to the facilities, because that is always open to them when the tournament is about to come up, or her private training facilities. But key thing to this is the weather conditions, because Australia can really get a lot more crazy when it's January and February and March. The weather changes dramatically. And Andy Murray, Novak Djokovic, Stan Wawrinka all getting back to the ATP.
Yes.
But Murray is yet to fly out to Australia, still delaying. And some tennis heavyweights are coming out to think that maybe he's not very confident in himself to return now after being out because of the hip injury. Of course, he played in that this charity match with Roger Federer, but he wasn't that much of himself. But we were glad to see him come back to at least hold the racket and to run around the court and to show us one of those his trademark shots. But I was confident that Murray is coming back. Murray is coming back with full force.
Well, the organizers have actually said he's going to make a resurgence, but usually we see this a lot. When you come back from a major injury, especially major surgery like this, it takes you time to readjust, to find your groove back and find that confidence. Yes, I believe he will make it to Brisbane, but I don't believe we're going to see the Andy Murray that we're used to. We're probably going to see a more tamed performance, a more measured performance to test out and not push himself too hard. And I think this is just the beginning. There's a lot more to come. There's still a lot of more beautiful tennis to come our way.
This is still Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. My name is Ted, and I'm here with Buchi. We're talking sports, and we're redefining sports. Buchi, something happened on a train for a Paralympic athlete that happened in the UK, and Tani Gray Thompson said she got on a train that was supposed to take her to a very, very important place, and she didn't have space to sit, and she was actually ignored. Her right to that space, she had her ticket, she boarded the train, but like someone had obviously gotten on the train ahead of her and taken her seat.
Yes.
And she wasn't allowed to get in and sit, and she missed the train, came down embarrassed. And this is still happening in advanced countries. If it happens in Nigeria, where you have banks, you have federal secretariats, you have government offices that have no ramps. Of course, it's different from Human Rights Radio here. A special guest comes here, it's very easy to find your way around because there are ramps everywhere. You can access every part of the building, the office, the outside. And then this happened somewhere out there on a train. She was able to get on a train, and yet there was no space on the train. No one could actually give her that space.
I think the problem was, she was stopped from boarding the train after a passenger told the staff there wasn't any space for her. And I think it's just down to discrimination. And that when you have that kind of discrimination, it also boils down to ignorance. It's unfortunate that, like you said, in an advanced country like this, we see people with disabilities I don't really call them with disabilities. People who are just slightly different from what we are. They're the new normal. But we see them, and then
we call them people where they gallant.
Strong, exactly. People, gallant people, gallant brother, them, gallant sister, them. That kind of ignorance to, it's disheartening. It really is disheartening. We're supposed to, these people want to be treated as normal as possible. Yes. These people have a right to the quality of life that we have,
and the services being given by that transport company.
Why not? I believe maybe that passenger was just not feeling comfortable, maybe with a disabled person or whatever, and then decided to act in that kind of horrific way. It's just sad. It really is just sad. And like you said, I wonder when we're going to be able to get over these kind of prejudice against people with disabilities. It's unfortunate. It really is.
And that's not the first time. Well, sometime earlier this year, a Paralympian, Anne Wafula, strike, saying that she was left humiliated, where she actually wanted to use the solid and liquid waste department of course, that's a special name branded to Human Rights Radio, solid and liquid waste department of
the water closet.
Yeah. And she discovered that it was written on the door out of order. And that was the only one she could access because she couldn't use the normal one because
the disabled one. The disabled one was out of order, and the normal one she could not use
it and discriminated against.
Yes.
We're talking of going into a year, 2018, that is hosting a lot of games across the world. And this year, 2017, is building up with this. The year is ending with this kind of stories coming up. People's rights to public facilities that they have actually paid for being violated. That's an outright violation of this athlete's
rights. It is an outright violation. And the unfortunate thing is we let it perpetrate in our society.
Yes.
We see these things and we just let it slide. We just, because it's not happening to us directly, or because we are not comfortable in the presence of the disabled. When are we going to get over this kind of prejudice? I mean, this isn't racism. This is just straight up prejudice against.
Like our executive media strategist will always say that disability comes with time.
Yes.
It's either you are disabled now or old age.
Exactly.
And at that point, you are going to depend on others to help you. And on this note, we would give kudos to. I would say we give kudos to our own organizer, say in Nigeria here, who cater for our athletes. The facilities are not there as they should be, but at least we're making waves internationally.
Yes.
There's no tournament we have gone out, our Paralympians have gone out to participate in that we have come out without our name being mentioned, at least in one of, if it's not a gold, it's not a silver, it's a bronze. Or
That's true.
At least we come close. So at least that is happening, and our physically challenged persons back home here who are into athletics are not letting anything go by. They're trying to make sure that they are considered, they are recognized, and they are relevant when it comes to sports. And I guess we should consider them as well. We should think of providing an enabling environment.
Yes.
We have overhead bridges, especially in Abuja here, that are created for wheelchairs to pass with. Unfortunately,
also wheelchair accessible. Yes.
Unfortunately, some of them have been. I was walking around one of them and I saw an Okada getting in. That was at Uye Junction. Okada climbing over from the NAFDAC side to
go over to the other side. Exactly.
This is how it starts. I mean, we're talking sports here, but we're trying to link it up to what is happening right in the front of our house here. If you don't curtail it at the beginning, it gets to a point when they will not have the right to use.
It becomes the new normal. That's the truth. It becomes the new normal. And the thing that was specially designed for people with disabilities becomes
public use or something else.
Public, in fact, you can even have people even living.
And denying them of access to that.
It's unfortunate.
Well, this is a stadium on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting with Ted and Buchi. We're talking sports. We'll take a short break, and when we come back, we'll launch straight into the world of football. A lot is happening. Some games have come and gone. Of course, I'm very sure that some fans are very happy. People were expecting Manchester City to lose today so that some other teams, Manchester United, whose game is yet to start, will climb up and close the gap. But it didn't happen. In the Clasico, who is the best? Of course, the results of today does not determine who is the best, who is the world best, because maybe there's only one player who is the world best. Some other games, of course, big teams, Man City, unstoppable, still running riot, making sure they increase that gap on the table and head to where they are. A lot of that will be coming up. And in Italy and in Spain, other games took place and are taking place today, not just one. The table is changing. But do stay with us. We'll be right back after this break. I'll go straight into the world of football. Keep your phones ready. If you don't have a recharge card, go and buy. You know, cost only. Shey you get recharge card of 15 naira.
Yeah, he did. No, he did.
Just collect that small one. You call us and we'll talk.
In fact, if you even borrow stuff,
If you borrow, but that borrow.
no borrow for this
How
period.
much you go cut from your hand?
Don't borrow this period. If you can, don't borrow this period.
Stay with us. We'll be right back after this short break. on FM, redefining broadcasting is sports. Please, if you are enjoying that music so much, don't worry. Our producer Queen Genesis will play it back for you sometime in the course of the program, and much later you enjoy it, because this is sports we are talking. But of course, we mix sports with music. That is what makes life feel like jollificating. But here with me is Buchi. When we went on a short break, he was asking me, what is wrong with Jurgen Klopp? I said, no, nothing is wrong with Jurgen Klopp. Why is Arsene Wenger rushing? I said, something is right with Mohamed Salah. But Buchi said, no, something is right with Ozil. I don't know what your thoughts are. There are so many players from yesterday's game. We are starting in the world of football before we come to the El Clasico, and the games are just finished and the games that are going on. Everybody thought that Liverpool had won that game. It was done and dusted.
It was done and dusted.
With those two amazing goals, and an amazing goal from Mohamed Salah. The second goal was just a classic. Czech couldn't see it, even though it took a slight deflection, but it went exactly where he wanted it to go.
Exactly.
But then Arsenal came back angry and determined to make sure that, hey, you don't come to our house and just set fire around here and get away like that.
I think, to be honest, I think it's Liverpool. You know, I think Liverpool fans, I think you'll agree with me, your team seems to be a very generous team. They said, how can we be winning? Like, it's not fair now. We don't want to. Let's share. Let's just share the points. I mean, it's ridiculous. You were leading. You were leading. This thing happened.
The first time.
It's not the first time. It's not the second time. There has to be. I mean, maybe that's my conclusion. Maybe they just felt, you know what? Let's just share. You know, it's you know. You know when you're growing up, they tell you there's love in sharing. A share for you, a share for me, share for everyone. You see, everybody's sharing. Come on, two goal lead
at Emirates.
At the Emirates,
of all places.
Of all places, you had it.
Are you Burnley? Or which other team has not Emirates? I'm trying to remember.
I mean, it's
Burnley was at Chelsea. The opening game of the season.
They bundled. Burnley bundled.
They took them.
Yes, they did. They took them. Period. No, but it's ridiculous. I mean, for me, it's just like undoing Salah's work. What's the point in having the highest goal scorer there who's scoring goals if you're not winning those matches outrightly? You had the chance to successively win that match outrightly, and you squandered it. You squandered it, especially against a team like Arsenal, an Arsenal that are struggling to also come up to push you out of that top four, to get a slot in there. You give them that kind of opportunity, and you let them score and equalize. And I think if that match had even gone on a little further, Arsenal might have even walked away with the victory.
Well, I think they were blatant and open chances for both teams. I must say, both Arsenal and Liverpool had those chances. But I'm wondering what went wrong with Liverpool. Jurgen Klopp was fuming on the lines. Mane got missing along the line in the game, and Salah was doing everything. Salah actually built the goal. The second goal, he built it from the midfield and laid the passes and stood in position to receive the ball and scored. And Arsenal's midfield, I must say, as well, was like they had no clue, no idea about what he was doing. They didn't mark Salah. They didn't zone mark him. He was running to where he wanted.
The man was just moving freely without any sort of.
But he didn't have sufficient supply of passes from the midfield.
That's
if
true.
he did that, the damage would have been worse than what happened yesterday. And it took the brilliance of Ozil as well to set up the attacking force that Arsenal used to come back, because he was a prolific player there, trying to run to wide angles, dragging the defense of Liverpool away and
to open up create the space, open up those chances.
But does this expose both teams to a need for them in... of course, we've been talking so much about Sané being an amazing defender. Midfielder, rather.
Yes.
Defensively and attack-wise, he's good. But yesterday, I think he was a shadow of himself, coming up in a high-profile game like that.
No, it might. Let's just call it a fluke thing, because Sané has been always been a consistent player. He plays consistently well. Yes. Let's just call it a freak performance.
Yes.
Let's see how the next few games plan out, and we'll know.
Yes, we'll know. According to Buchi, we'll see what the few games come out, and we'll know. But as it stands on the EPL, it's Man City, because they actually had a very wonderful result this evening.
Yes.
So it's them 55, Man United 41, because they have a game yet to play, and Chelsea 39 points, and Liverpool 35. So the top four as it stands. If the league ends today, if to say the league can't end today, not to say it don't end. No, if to say it end today. That's the top four that you have there. But of course, if you want to join us on the conversation, are you a Liverpool fan? Are you disappointed in what they did? Or are you an Arsenal fan? Are you happy that Arsenal came back? should they have allowed the 2-goal lead to take place in the first place? I mean, at home. It's your home. Forget who Liverpool are and forget the fact that they have your player who is playing with them. Arsene Wenger came out earlier to say he doesn't believe a player that's been warming the bench could make a difference in the game. And actually, when he came in, he didn't actually do what he was brought in to do. But some Arsenal fans cheered him, some booed him when he was being introduced.
That's true.
He didn't actually do that which Jurgen Klopp brought him in to do, and that which he bought him to do. Wenger is fond of selling some of his best players to rival clubs.
Yes.
And sometimes that comes to haunt him. Yesterday, he didn't quite happen. But anyway, of course, we're talking about the number that you should join us in calling. Don't mind us. 081 1011. That is 081 1011. What are your thoughts about the game yesterday between Arsenal and Liverpool? We have a caller here on the line. Hello, good evening and welcome to the stadium. Good evening.
Hello.
Good evening. Welcome to the stadium. Good evening. This is a stadium on Human Rights Radio. Hello. This is a stadium on Human Rights Radio.
I think it's the wrong number.
All right. If you're an Arsenal fan, you're not very happy, or you're a Liverpool fan, you're not very happy, or you're a fan of AFC Bournemouth, or whatever club you're supporting, you're not very happy, don't be bothered. Just call us. Let's talk. We're just talking sports. Call 081-8999-1011, and we'll discuss with you on what you felt about yesterday's game, especially. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Hello.
Hello, good evening. Hello, good evening. Not us. I'm not sure. This person should be a fan of which team is losing now, but let me find out. The call I just came in.
It sounds like he might be a West Ham United
or Real Madrid.
Yeah, or Real Madrid, yes.
Or maybe
Real
Chelsea
Madrid.
because they drew at. As it stands, Tottenham is leading Burnley 1-0. Let me speak this call again. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Good evening.
Yes, good evening. My name is Ted, and Buchi is here. What is your name and where are you calling from?
This side is calling you from Morozzo.
Okay, could you please reduce the volume of your radio set or walk away? If not, we'll not go hear you. The thing go they make quicky.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, this is better, Frederick.
Thank
Make
you.
your contribution. Are you an Arsenal supporter or Liverpool?
I am an Arsenal supporter, and definitely what they done yesterday, I was so much impressed because I couldn't expect them to come back with that wonderful result.
Okay.
And seriously, I was so much impressed.
Okay.
I wish them a happy and a good improvement in that.
Okay. That's Frederick there. Thank you for joining us. Thank you very much.
What Man City played today, sir?
Man City won their game 4-0 at home. 4-0.
Wonderful.
So who will stop Man City? I'm wondering who will stop Man City. Obviously.
So the Arsenal will come and stop them.
No, it's going to be Burnley. I give it to Burnley.
Okay.
We wait to see what happens. All right, then. Thank you so much. That's Frederick from Orozo. 081-8999-1011. If you're watching us on YouTube or Facebook, of course, you can see the number displayed on the screen. Call us on 081-8999-1011. Buchi, games are going on still.
Yes.
Because he asked us, I will let you give that update about games that have taken place in the EPL today before we go to the El Clasico, which has been a talking point in so many sports quarters today. Surprises or expectations?
Surprises, expectations, and also an explanation. A lot of people were asking me why it was played earlier in the day, but I'll give that explanation. But in the EPL, we had Everton and Chelsea with a goalless draw.
Surprising draw there.
Surprising there. I mean, like I said, I didn't call it a draw. I called it Chelsea dropping 2 points and Everton getting that much deserved 1 point.
You have someone here. Hello. 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 Okay, no, this is not for us. I think that's a commentator trying to explain what you're saying, that Everton and Chelsea did have a bad game.
Yes, Everton and Chelsea, a goalless draw.
Okay.
Brighton, Watford, Brighton actually won 1-0.
That's a surprising game there as well
Yes,
for me.
it is. It is. But Watford, I don't know what happened to Watford. They were really hot. I think they were even up to third.
They got to fifth. I think it's the time they got fourth. Yes,
They got fourth
on
in the table. Yes, and now they're just
after like
slipping.
the first 6 or 7 games they're about here.
We had Manchester City, of course, walking over Bournemouth 4-0. Southampton and Huddersfield Town actually played
Convenient draw for them.
convenient draw, gentleman's result, one goal apiece. Stoke City thrashing West Brom 3-1. Swansea, of course, gentleman's result with Crystal Palace, a goal apiece.
They were actually losing because Swansea is in the news.
Yes.
Sacking their coach and looking for everybody around the world.
Exactly.
I learned that you submitted your CV yesterday online
Of course,
for the
I
Swansea
did.
job.
I did.
Have they come this low, Buchi?
No, I mean, it's for me, it's a step up now. What are you talking about? West Ham United losing to Newcastle was a thriller of a game. Losing out 2-3.
So David Moyes has started his usual.
I mean, this is I think so far under Moyes, he had a 2-match winning streak.
Yeah.
He drew the last one and now he's lost.
And the losing streak will continue. That's his usual style.
Of course.
The next 10 matches, only God knows where West Ham will be. West Ham fans want to know Vex, so I'm just speaking the.
It's just
I'm just speaking the.
You're just speaking. Yes. And of course, like we reported, Burnley were actually bundled today by Tottenham.
It's still on. The game is still on.
So far they've been bundled by Tottenham.
They're not yet taken.
They have not been taken yet, TM. And of course, we're looking at the Leicester City Manchester United match. That's much
Man
later.
U visiting Leicester City. That's a game that's a cracker. These are the kind of games that they bring Kelechi Iheanacho in to play. What's the Leicester's coach now came out to say Kelechi needs to reestablish himself and play a lot stronger to earn a space on the starting list of Leicester City. In this kind of crackers, these are games that they bring him in because he has.
Bringing your big guns, exactly.
He's a big gun, but they have not used him with the right bullets. He has a way to come into this kind of big games and steal the show, and then they keep him on the bench again. I guess he needs more playing time. This kind of game is his own style of game that he loves to play. This is still Human Rights Radio, the Stadium, 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. But you give us a number that people can call and reach us because people are still trying to reach you.
That's
Network
true.
is frustrating, but keep on coming.
Keep on. You might be the lucky one to get through, and you could join us here on this 100.1 million capacity stadium.
The
biggest in the world. We cover every sport under one solid structure called the stadium. And the number to reach us is still 081 8999 1011. And I'll take it again in case you didn't hear me. 081 89 99
11.
Yes.
Buchi, Premier League managers.
Yes.
Something I've been wanting to talk about for long. And yesterday on the program, I asked the callers, the listeners, of course, we had some network issues, so people didn't respond to that. That if Arsene Wenger loses this game, should he be shown the door out like Swansea have done? They have used 6 managers in 2 seasons. Arsene Wenger has been at Arsenal since 1996. 30th of September, exactly, 1996. And he's the oldest. He's the grandfather of all the managers in there. Should he actually be given the boot if he loses games, or if he doesn't deliver to Arsenal, the fans, what they have been longing for after the invincible 50? But someone is here on the line. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Francis calling from Derby.
Okay, Francis, welcome to the program. And what are your thoughts?
I really enjoyed the game of Barcelona and Real Madrid, but I was very angry.
Why?
Come on, Everton Chelsea are playing draw with.
No.
I'm so disappointed.
Come on. It's not common. Everything is not common. Are you there? He's gone. Everything is not common, actually.
I mean,
if you check back between Chelsea and
Everton, if you look back on their history, there's always been that very strong rivalry between these two. I think it's just in recent years and recent performance of Everton. But Everton has always been a very tough competitor to all the big teams.
Yes. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium. Hello, good evening. Hello, can you hear us? Could you please speak up a little bit? I can hardly hear you. Okay. We're listening.
I want to contribute about Barca Madrid match. I'm very excited about the result.
You're excited?
Madrid today.
Cristiano Ronaldo will hate you for the rest of his life.
He's dropped. He's dropped.
He's excited about the result, right? Buchi, of course, people are talking about that game. We're coming back to that. We're coming back to the result about Barca and Madrid in a short while. But let's speak another call. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Hello?
Hello, good evening.
Hello?
Hello, good evening. This is the stadium.
Huh?
This is the stadium.
of Human Rights Radio. What is your name and where you're calling us from? Hello?
Hello?
Can you hear me? This is the stadium.
Yeah.
Okay, what do you want to say?
I'm hearing the word.
Okay, you called in the program.
I called. Somebody gave me this number. I don't know whether it's wrong number first.
Okay, this is Human Rights Radio, and this is a sports program called The Stadium.
Okay, thank you.
All right, thank you. That should be a Real Madrid fan that doesn't want to admit the truth. All right, Buchi. El Clasico.
Yes.
What happened in the Clasico? Before we come back to the EPL managers of the season and lifetime managers that some don't want to leave, we have to find a way to make sure that they go out.
No, they want to collect their pension then.
El Clasico today, what are your talking points? Of course, the excuse, first of all, let's start with the reason why. Unusually, a Clasico is always a night game.
Yes.
Sometimes 11 p.m. and all that, and it was played in the daytime.
Well, as you all know, football is a global game and has mass appeal all around the world. Yes. And El Clasico, for El Clasico this season, the Spanish La Liga decided to reward fans that were about 6 time zones, 6 hours ahead, 68 hours, and that's in the Asian market. Yes. As we all know, the Asian market is a big and upcoming market, and they are huge, huge fans, especially supporters of El Clasico. Yes. And so in order to attract more viewership
and even sponsorship
and more sponsorship in that regard, El Clasico, which was scheduled for 1 o'clock this afternoon, to cater to prime time, that's a prime time in Asia, which they are about 6 hours ahead. Yes. So while they were playing it by 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Spain, in Japan, in China, in these Asian countries,
it was a convenient time.
It was a convenient time. It was about 7 to 8 p.m. in the evening, and so that's why El Clasico was actually done.
Even in Latin America, it wasn't a very awkward time.
It wasn't. No, it wasn't.
The time zones are so tricky that even Latin America, I remember those days in 1996 during the Olympics, I would have to wake up.
We are ahead of them. So
12 midnight, 1
wake
a.m.,
up, exactly.
2 a.m. to watch games.
The games, yeah.
Scheduling a game around that time, that one would be slightly convenient for Latin American viewers and fans.
Yeah, those are
and the Asians as
in
well.
the morning. That's in the morning, since it's a weekend. It's a morning there. So that was the reason why El Clasico was played at this time, because I think La Liga is also, they're acknowledging the fact that they have that international appeal, and also to cater to those international fans, especially in the Asian market. Now, talking points of El Clasico, of course, we all know something very tantalizing happened, especially when these two giants meet. There's always, it's when they say when two elephants meet, it's the grass that suffers.
Now it's a ground, because the grass don't finish.
In fact, the grass finished, the ground. In fact, one white elephant suffered, while the purple one, the other one was dancing on top of the other.
Funny enough, I don't think the excuse of a red card for Real Madrid would stand for whatever it is. I don't think so. But in games like this, yesterday I said there would be a red card, but I never knew that it wouldn't be Sergio Ramos. That was Cavaja in the 65th minute. But I would say Real Madrid, let me give you my own observations, right? I'm using these words. Real Madrid, they were reluctant, they were tired, they were uninspired, they were lazy, and they were inarticulate in their passes and in their deliveries. It's what I saw in the Real Madrid team today.
For me, in the Barcelona team, I saw a team that was showing signs of weakness, but focused.
Yes.
They were willing to go forward. They're willing to go and do the job, but you could see that tiredness in their legs.
Some level of fatigue.
You could see that they were ready for the game. They were prepared, but they just seemed slow. They were just a bit slow onto the quick, slow onto the ball. I think they were just a bit more slightly coordinated, and that was the key. That was the main key, and that was the edge they had over Real Madrid.
Well, that's a classical there, and those are the talking points of that game. But of course, I know that most of you that watch people say we're happy about the results. Some say we're not very happy. What are your thoughts? You join us after this very short break that we're taking. I want to know what your thoughts are about El Clasico today. And
Fantastic game today.
And Gary Bell did not show up. He wasn't part of the party. Is it the end of Gary Bell?
He showed up. He did.
I don't. When I say show up, I don't mean.
Okay.
I don't mean appearing.
I understand what you mean. I understand what you mean.
Like,
I understand what you mean.
it's like Argentina playing Nigeria. Messi is on the pitch, but at least you don't see him. The camera doesn't even recognize that he's on the pitch.
To be honest, I think I actually caught him in some part of the defense at one point in time. But I think kudos to him on his part. I mean, this is the best performance we've seen from him in a very, very,
For a while, we're showing signs that the injury is a little bit gone. So putting himself expensive on the market, which comes up in a couple of days. It's just a matter of days on the general transfer window.
It's like showcasing a horse. You have to showcase the best parts of the horse if you're going to sell it.
This is a Stadium on Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. We'll be back after this break. I will open the phone lines again for you to discuss what your thoughts are about the games that are taking place or took place yesterday or have taken place today, and games that might take place tonight. Manchester United, what are your hopes? We will give another short press conference after the game at Leicester City
to beat his own world record.
He said it and he will beat it. Do stay with us. We'll be right back. Song there. You're still listening to Human Rights Radio 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. My name is Ted, and I'm here with the one and only. Yes, he's right here. Oh, he's shouting like that. Know that Chelsea did not lose. Because we're looking at results of matches that took place yesterday, today, and the ongoing games. Buchi, we left the Clasico before that short commercial break.
Yes.
Zidane, I'm looking at him. 2 years on the job at Real Madrid. His contract started on January 4th when he took over from that was Rafa Benitez.
Yes.
He has won as a player and as a coach. He won the Ballon d'Or and he has won the Champions League.
And also the best coach.
The best coach. 2 UEFA Champions League titles as a coach.
Yes.
They are back-to-back defending. 5 years as a player at Real Madrid. He won the UCL, he won La Liga, he won the Super Cup, he won the Intercontinental Cup. That's the old
Yes.
Intercontinental Cup again. And then I don't know. At Real Madrid, if you don't impress the locals,
In fact,
if you don't impress the locals,
they're
and
passionate
worst,
about their football.
and worst, if you don't impress Fiorentino Perez, you are in soup. And right now, it seems Zizou, with all his amazing record as a player and now as a coach, is looking shaky. For me, as far as I'm concerned,
That's true,
the
no.
PS is looking a little bit shaky.
I think the Boyz II Men song, that classic Boyz II Men song, is kind of capturing the mood right now.
Yes.
In fact, if you don't mind, I think I'm going to.
I don't know. I know you don't.
This is exclusive to
you don't
the
sing.
stadium.
You don't sing well on Saturday evening. I'm very sure about that. So,
This is exclusive to the stadium, so if you're out there, this is for you.
should I give you a key?
No, this is a song dedicated to Zinedine Zidane.
And then I add Arsene Wenger.
That's, although we've come to the end of the road.
Okay, but I'll stop you right there. Because we've not come to the end of the road. We're only speculating that this
Yes.
could happen.
This kind of blow right now. This kind of
With this
blow,
result.
especially El Clasico. You know,
Clasico. And
it doesn't matter whether
lose
you've
a
won,
Clasico.
whether you've won the league or not.
Or the Champions League.
Whether you've won the Champions League or whether you've won the world or not. When it comes to El Clasico,
You don't lose.
you don't lose.
Not Real Madrid.
Not Real Madrid. And
Barcelona
to lose,
can afford to lose it, but Real Madrid, you don't. Because
their fans, Perez himself, they are diehard passionate about this team, and especially El Clasico. El Clasico is like the highlights. It's like the World Cup to some of these Madrid fans, and to lose it, and not just lose it like this, not just like a 1-0. We're talking about a 3-0 margin.
I know that most Clásicos, of course, we have given it a name, even though it's a Spanish word. We have decided to use it across other leagues. They used to be like that, but some of them have gone down. Back in the days, I mean, I'm not looking at the derby between Inter Milan and AC Milan. I'm looking at Inter Milan and AC Milan having a replica of El Clasico that is in Spain, or Milan, any of the Milan teams, and Roma or Juventus having a replica of that. In England, we're looking at Chelsea, Manchester United.
You're looking at exactly
Arsenal,
Manchester.
City,
Exactly.
Liverpool, Everton. It might not be a derby as such, but for those leagues, they were both classics.
Yes.
We're looking at those games. Back in the days, Marseille, Monaco, long before PSG became a very huge name on all those. But then most of those have gone down. Are you thinking, or are you considering that this might just be the beginning of the death of El Clasico? It's no longer, for me, it's no longer what it used to be.
No, it's no longer what it used to be, because this was the point where, aside from these big teams meeting, it was called, I think it was called El Clasico, because this was where the finest play in football came. This is where it was like the gathering.
Two of the best teams.
You had a team that had. Let's go back a few years. You had one team on one side. You had the likes of Zidane himself, Ronaldo,
Raul,
David Beckham, Raul, Ike Casillas. You had a team like that. You had on the other side a team that had the likes of
the Rivaldos.
The Rivaldos, that kind of thing. And then this is where the beauty of the game came out, because this was where some of the most fantastic plays, some of the biggest highs and biggest lows in football.
Somehow I miss the partnership of Xavi and Iniesta.
Yes.
I miss the beauty of that presence there. I miss Raul at Real Madrid.
Raul,
I miss Ike Casillas commanding that back there. I even miss Hero.
Yes.
That was when the beauty
I
was
mean,
there.
you know what I really, you know what I truly,
that was where a classical
I
was
miss
what it was.
Beckham when Beckham would place that pass where he would just place it and it just seems to land square.
And even when
there.
when Ronaldinho came in playing alongside on Eto'o,
Yes.
the classical still had the beauty. But
That was when it had the
has
name.
lost it. Now is a fight between two players fighting to establish who is who and who should be who.
Exactly.
And that is dividing fans. But we have somebody here with a different opinion. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Good evening, Ted.
Yes, this is Ted, and Buchi is here.
Okay, Buchi.
Yes, so
Good evening. You guys are doing a nice job.
Thank you very much.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate you being part of the stadium. For
Yeah, this is Ezekiel from Katampe.
Ezekiel,
Yes.
the one and only, no duplicate.
Yeah.
Yes.
Now, wow, sorry for Madrid, though. And they said they made a take heart. And for that guy, yesterday, we say Manchester now. He give Man one name like that. Any teller say they already they come be today now. Bonanza.
Okay, so the
That
noise.
name wey give me yesterday, tell am say na Bonanza. If he dey hear me, may come back abeg.
No problem. He was just expressing
Thank
himself.
you very much.
Ezekiel, thank you so much.
welcome.
Yes. That's our regular listener there, Ezekiel, all the way from Katakwe, expressing his view. If you want to talk like Ezekiel, tell us your feelings about what you have heard on this program. If we are right or wrong, do let us know. You know the regular numbers. Well, let's speak this call before we remind you about the numbers. Hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium. Good evening. If you are calling from Madrid, please speak up. I've lost this call, actually. The call has gone. If you are calling from Madrid, please speak up. And if you are calling from Barcelona, please do not shout because the phone will be a little bit. And if you are calling from Manchester City, please turn down the volume of your radio set. If you are calling from Chelsea, we can agree that you can be a little bit quiet because the result today did not favor you. The line to join us is 081-8999-1011. But so the classical has actually lost its appeal and its beauty,
I think maybe we should even rename it. It's not El Clasico anymore. It's just.
Would you
L.
find a Spanish word?
No, let's just call
take
it
out the
L.
classical L.
We'll take out the Clasico because El
So
Clasico
just-
means a classic. Because
we'll
it
just-
wasn't really a classic. It
we'll just leave a definite
It's just
adjective
a
there.
L. It's just. It was just there.
So
And
for Messi celebrating the way he celebrated the goals, even the ones he did not score, of course, he created that last
Of
goal. That
course,
was
of
beauty,
course.
amazing. For him and for Cristiano, this is the fight between them. But today, Cristiano took a knock. I mean, not a knock that he didn't train with the rest of the team coming to this. He
of
trained
course.
only yesterday a little bit with the team before declaring that he was fit for the game because of the Club World Cup. He had some little issues.
Yes.
After scoring that goal and the celebration and everything. But he's in the game and we didn't see him. This is when big players stand up. Today he was actually
Exactly,
missing. Like
he was
Gareth Bale,
missing.
he wasn't
Yeah.
there. We
I
saw
mean-
a jersey number 7 on the pitch, but we didn't see.
I
any
mean,
action.
well, it depends on your own definition of Bill not being there. To be honest, at least I heard that Bill was on the field for the first. I mean, oh, Bill is here. Wow.
love that.
I mean, that was my thought. That was my thought. Oh, really? Bill was here. Wow. Okay. You know, that's pretty good. So I mean, for me, well, like you said, Bill is putting himself out there to make himself attractive and more presentable to be sold out, to be
So
bought
from
like
what
a
it
show
looks,
pony.
we're talking about managers that have had a bad time, and then after 2 years, maybe just maybe, the way Fiorentino Perez reasons, if he has not repented like Roman Abramovich, then we might
Yes.
just be seeing Zidane being on the list of coming over to Swansea.
Swansea would be thrilled and glad to have him over.
All right, so Buchi, in the EPL, let's look at this issue of managers that have been there for years, and in no particular order. But let's start from West Ham.
Of course.
David Moyes. He came in on the 7th of November this year.
Yes.
He came in to succeed Slava
Sam
Bilic,
Bilic.
who is now on the radar of Swansea City, Swansea Football Club, the Welsh team. We have West Bromwich Albion. They have Alan Pardew, who came in on the 29th of November this year.
Yeah, just
Came in
a few weeks ago.
Yes, came in for Tony Pulis, who was an amazing and dogged coach. But of course, the results didn't go his way.
Of course.
At Watford, we have Marco Silva, who has been there since 27th of May this year. That's the third manager this year.
Yes.
He came in for Walter Mazzari. And then for Tottenham Hotspur, we have Mauricio Pochettino, who has been there since
Pucci.
2014.
Yes.
they have kept faith with him, and he has actually helped them
He has given them that result.
to get a name for themselves and dislodge the top four that we used to have.
Yes.
He came in there for Team Sherwood. Swansea City, of course, have taken over their coach, Paul Clement, and we're waiting for the announcement to see.
I mean,
and
6 coaches in 2 years.
Bucci submitted his CV, so we're waiting to see whatever happens. Stoke
Pray
City
for
have
me.
Mark Hughes, 30th of May 2013, actually. He succeeded Tony Pulis. Southampton have, by the way, Mark Hughes, there are issues with Mark Hughes that he might actually be fired if the result don't go his way.
His name is being circled down the drain, so he
Yeah.
might be the next managerial candidate to bite the bullet.
All right, we're giving you updates on some managers, especially in the EPL, and what might happen to Zizou if things don't go his way. But we'll be right back. We'll continue with that because we have to take a very short break for our brothers and sisters to pray for us and maybe for Zizou.
Yes.
So
Yes.
stay with us. We'll be right back. You're still listening to Human Rights Radio, 101.1 FM, redefining broadcasting. This is the stadium with Ted and Buchi. And of course, you are free to be a part of this conversation. Call the numbers 08189991011. Are you disappointed at any result that was recorded yesterday or today or an ongoing match? Before we went on the break, we were talking about managers in the league and how long they have stayed there. Buchi, Southampton and Mauricio Pellegrino.
Mauricio Pellegrino has been with Southampton since June of the 23rd of the June of 2017, and he actually took over the Claude Appeal.
And of course, they are not doing as bad as they were before he came in, but it's not where they're expected to be. That they are. Newcastle with Rafa Benitez bringing them back from relegation back in. He replaced the Englishman Steve McLaren back in the days as at 2006. Took them down and then brought them back. He's still there. And today he had a very horrible result for himself. Jose Mourinho.
Newcastle?
Yeah.
Newcastle won today.
They won at West Ham.
3-2.
It was horrible because they defeated David Moyes. That's what I mean.
Horrible for Moyes.
Mourinho since 2016 has been with Manchester United, but that is not the Manchester United that we have known.
No.
Our head of visuals and production would disagree with me because he doesn't quite like Mourinho as much. But right now,
Mourinho is the best thing that you guys have right now.
Talk to Mourinho. There's nothing you can do.
He's the best. Chike, if you can hear me, he's the best thing you guys need. You deserve him right now.
There's nothing you can do.
There's nothing you can do about it.
Pep Guardiola, Manchester City, the high-flying coach and the high-flying team. 1st July 2016, replacing Manuel Pellegrini, has been there. Jurgen Klopp of Liverpool, October 8, 2015, replacing Brendan Rodgers, who is now
2015.
Yes,
I actually thought it was 2016.
No, 15, because he said he wants to do 7 years at Liverpool and leave. He said that ahead of the game between Liverpool and Arsenal yesterday. Unfortunately, it wasn't a win because he says he wants to win. Even if he wins the titles or not, after 7 years,
he's done. He's out.
But depends on what the board decides, if they fire him or they leave him there. Leicester City, Claude Puel, replacing Shakespeare, who replaced your former Oga before at Chelsea. Okay, Claude Puel came in 25th of October this year. So this year we've actually had like 7 managers because Huddersfield Town brought in David Wagner in 2015. But in 2017, 30th of November, Sam Allardyce came to Everton that were struggling. And what has he given them to eat or drink that they are doing what they are doing?
I don't know, honestly. Right now, they're playing some very good games.
7 unbeaten games so far under his watch since he came in. Whether they, at least they never lost. There have been draws and some wins.
Yes.
And that is a massive result for Everton there, I must say, for them. Under the Big Sam. He knows how to come in and get teams out of relegation.
That's his specialty.
And then disappear. You say, well, my wife said I shouldn't continue, so I'm taking a break. You just take the money with his wife. They go somewhere and relax, and then he comes back. Crystal Palace, Roy Hodgson, replacing Frank de Boer, 12th September 2017.
Yes.
How are they doing based on your assessment? Somebody say, hello, good evening, and welcome to the stadium.
Good evening, but you don't know they are covered this. But the game must go.
Okay. You want him to go?
The game must go because to win back-to-back Champions League, World Cup playoffs, to win it back-to-back is not easy.
Yes.
That money is not your money. Go and buy classic players. But we believe in Asensio, but CR7 is the great. Nobody can take him away from him.
But Ezekiel, if you want Zidane to buy players, which players will you recommend?
Who would you recommend for him
He's
to buy?
supposed to buy players now.
Like who?
Like
He's
who?
a good coach. Yes.
Like which player?
He won the Champions League back to back. He won many titles, but he's supposed to change his squad.
Okay.
Bukamodu is his coach.
Yes.
Okay.
Cruz is coach.
Bale. Okay.
Cristiano.
Ronaldo should go.
No, let him sell Cristiano now.
The guy has just lost his job and himself.
Should he say Ronaldo and buy better players? Is that what you're saying?
No. We don't need to sell Ronaldo and sell another, but at least now, you have to buy France. I just said the game for Man City. Then you dream more. But for Zidane, definitely Zidane will go now. Because El Clasico is but this today was not El Clasico. This is a friendly match.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Have a wonderful night.
Ezekiel, thank you so much. Thank you.
Ezekiel capping it up there. It says it's a friendly match, not
In fact,
El Clasico.
Ezekiel, let me even go one further. Let him sell Ronaldo and use the money, because the money they're paying Ronaldo could probably buy like 6 different or just 6 players at once.
6 players
So
can buy like actually a whole team.
it can buy a whole team. So why don't they just sell Ronaldo? And you know his buyout clause. You know that one team.
Ronaldo's monthly wages is more than the budget of Bolton Wanderers in the championship.
That's true. That's very true. In fact, you know what they should do, Ezekiel? Let them sell Ronaldo to one of these Chinese teams. You know, China has the big money now. Right? They will pay the money. They'll buy the buyout clause with extra.
Real Madrid fans, he's not Ted and said this. Bucci is here. You know him very well, so come after him. Of course, Bucci, we were talking about what happened. Roy Hodgson is there.
Yes.
Crystal Palace trying to get out. Chelsea, Antonio Conte, 2016, April, he came in replacing Gus Hiddink.
Yes.
How has Chelsea fared so far?
Well, this season has been a bit lackluster from last season. I mean, last season they seemed like a team.
He came in and won the league.
He came in, won the league.
Now he has already lost it.
No, yeah, he's practically lost it. Yeah. I think the reality of the EPL is actually setting in, because last season there weren't so many commitments. Chelsea didn't have so many commitments, so they could focus on the league and play the way they played. Now you have Carabao Cup, you have the Champions League to play, and the EPL, and of course the EPL is the most competitive league in the whole of the world. So you know. I think for many years he'd been in Juventus. Juventus had probably was like it's like Bayern Munich. They've been in the driving seat.
Traditional team.
They're a traditional team. They know themselves. Exactly. So it's sort of like it was been a walkover for him. But now the challenge has come in. I think this is now the time he's actually proving his mettle as a coach.
He don't do. Burnley, Shandai, 30th October 2012.
Yes.
Replacing Eddie Howe. 2012 till now.
Yes.
He was with them in the championship, and he's still there. They're still faithful to him, and they've been doing well. They're now close to.
They've been doing well, consistently well.
If the league ends as it stands now, Burnley might just probably get themselves in Europe.
If they can, yeah. I mean, the way Burnley have been playing, unfortunately, they lost out today. Well, they haven't lost. They're still in the fight. I think it's halftime, and Tottenham is leading with 1-0. Yeah. But they're still in the fight. But Burnley has been a consistent team. It's one of those. They're kind of like what Newcastle was back in the day. They used to be a bane in all the big team sides. Yes. They would frustrate you and play you to the last man, and that's what Burnley is doing right now. Kudos to them, and kudos to Sam Dyche. He's really doing something in that team.
Brighton and Hove Albion, Chris Hulton, 31st December 2014, replacing the former Liverpool legend Sami Hyypiä.
Yes.
And actually, so far, he's doing not badly.
He's not doing badly.
He brought them to the league.
He did. He brought them to the league. For so many years,
I mean, they've stepped in now from the championship, and they're excited.
I mean, and also to note, he is the only coach or manager of color.
Yes.
Of African descent, let's put it in there.
Yes, of course,
and so, he's making, I'm not saying that because of, but it's, it's something to note. I mean, he's doing a pretty good job, and I think the team still has, the management and the team have faith in his abilities. I mean, they just came out from relegation. They're making their mark in the EPL. I think if they continue like this consistently, they could be just one of those teams that
hang around for a while.
They'll hang around for a while, yes.
Bournemouth, Eddie Howe, 12th October 2012.
Yes.
That's a long time.
It's a long time.
Replacing Paul Gross. And he's there with them.
He's there with them. He's there with them. They have faith in him. I think some of these teams, the not so high up teams, the lower teams, tend to stick with that one manager.
They operate on low budgets.
They operate on low budgets.
And the contracts, they release the compensation package contained in the contracts of these managers are usually almost as huge as a player's wages. And
that's true.
They can't afford to pay them.
They can't afford to play them.
Even if the club is not doing well, they'll stick to it. But I wonder where Swansea is getting that money to let go a lot of the managers with ease like that.
I don't know. I think, I think we said this before on one of the programs. I think the problem is not in the team itself. I think the problem is in the management. There's some sort of maybe a disagreement or some sort of unrest or unsettlement within management. So it shouldn't be coaches to leave. I think management needs to be dissolved. A new management needs to be brought on, and then restructure from the top down. That's how it should work for them.
And the grandfather of this coach is all
drum roll please.
Thumbs up, Baba.
Baba.
Arsene Wenger, 30th September 1996, before some of you were born.
21 years.
Do you know who he replaced? I want to ask Arsenal fans, who was Arsenal's coach before Arsene Wenger took over?
If you
in
know you're a true
1996?
Arsenal fan,
But you
forget Google.
What will you give who gets this?
In fact,
You-
if
you-
you know
you clap
you're
for
a
the-
true Arsenal fan,
And you don't check.
in the next 3 minutes, without checking your Google, if you can call in and tell us who Arsene Wenger
Wenger took
replaced
over from.
in September of 1996, in fact, recharge card day for you.
That's Bucci committing himself there. But of course, Bucci, the tables across the world as it stands, of course, Manchester United is yet to play. So we can't outrightly say, but whatever result, Chelsea fluked. Arsenal and Liverpool.
Chelsea missed out on 2 points.
Arsenal and
Liverpool. I mean, Liverpool. No, I
point
won't.
apiece.
In fact, I won't say Arsenal. I'll say Liverpool. Liverpool
Lost
fluked.
out on
They
3
lost
points.
out. They lost out on 3 points and actually giving a good chase because I mean, right now the lead is 14. There's 14 points between Manchester City and Manchester United, and Manchester United are just trying to see whether they can close up and still just make it the same 11 points with their game outstanding. If they lose tonight to Leicester, I mean, outrightly, this Manchester City is just running riot and going forward. They have not lost a game throughout this season. It's an unprecedented run right now.
We were thinking there will be a team to stop them, and so far, no one has been able to stop Man City. Of course, they lost a game, one of the final games in the Champions League. It was just a ceremonial game, I will say, because they never really needed that game. They played with half foot on the pedal because they were coming back home to face very, very, very tough
Stiff
challenge.
competition, yes.
And they had to play soft. They had already qualified top of the group, so there was no point giving out all. I know that if they needed that game to qualify from the group, they would have actually gotten it outrightly. They didn't. Of course, we'll give you the table in the EPL as it stands. We're waiting for the result between Tottenham and Burnley to be over 62 minutes, and Tottenham is leading away 1-0. Man U and Leicester City come up again. That will be sometime around 8:45. But Bucci, one of the shocking tables across the world is La Liga.
Yes.
La Liga table looks horrible. I mean, looking at the gap, the gap between Barcelona and, of course, Real Madrid. It's not 10 points.
No, it's not 10 points.
14.
It's
massive
14.
points.
But then you say it's horrible. I mean, Manchester City right now are leading. Between first and second is 14. Between first and second here is about 9. I think 9 points. Atletico
Thereabout,
Madrid still
yeah.
have a game in hand, I believe. It's about 9 points in between them.
So it's worse in England than it is in Spain.
It is worse in England than it is in Spain. But like you said, it's worse in England in La Liga right now because between Real Madrid and Barcelona, it's always been that close competition, that close contact. And so to have a situation where the last 5 games Barcelona have drawn 2 games and won their last 3, and you have Real Madrid who have won 2, drawn 2, and lost 1. It's very, very unproductive.
So, all right, in the EPL, it's Man City 55, Man U 41, Chelsea 39, and Liverpool 35. In La Liga, is Barcelona 45, Atletico Madrid 36, Valencia 34, and Real Madrid 31. In Bundesliga, is Bayern Munich 41, Schalke 30, Borussia Dortmund 28, and Leverkusen 28. The last 2 teams tied there on the 4th position. Serie A, Napoli, surprisingly on top of the table, 45. They played a game ahead of Juventus, so Juventus will play a game to catch up. Juventus is 41, Inter Milan 40, Roma 38. In League On is PSG 50, Monaco 41. That's a wide gap there, 9 points. Lyon 41 and Marseille 38. Those big leagues across the world, those are the tables, and that's how they stand. But today being Saturday, there are games coming up tonight, and there are games coming up tomorrow. At the end of tomorrow, we shall be able to decide who stays where on the table, and this is a tight time. It's Christmas on Monday. Some leagues are taking breaks, some are not going on break. Some are already on break. The weather in Europe is not that friendly for open play, but some leagues will continue based on original fixtures, and to make sure that it doesn't affect the calendar proceeding. The World Cup is ahead, and of course, the earlier the league is closed, the better for players to go to camp and prepare for Russia 2018. Thanks to everybody who called us on the program today. It has been amazing, amazing, amazing 2 hours with you. And without you out there, we have no business being inside here. But thanks for the ride today again.
Yes, sir.
Because to everybody who was part of this production, Queen Jen, to Chike out there, and to Ugo on the server. Without you guys, this program will fail. Thanks to the ordinary president, our chief media executive, and all that supported us to make sure this rise on. Till tomorrow again, the same time, 6 p.m., we'll be here again. Be good out there. If you're queuing for fuel, be careful. Take care. Good night.
Good night.